this is the thing that was most useful for me. When you get this, it gives you energy. It makes you not want to give up. He has so much desire because of how much he believes that he can get. You can't get this anywhere else. If you can get absolutely anything, why not? What is up, guys? It's Ivaldi, Sako. Welcome to the show. Here we talk mostly about business, mindset, self-improvement stuff, things that will help you make your life better in any kind of way. So if you want to be also successful and free, you got the right place to do so, so subscribe. And if you don't know me, my name is Ivaldi Sako. I used to be the personal trainer of a guy that had business making $300K a month. We went into business together. He taught me a lot, and now I'm building my own business, and I'm talking about my journey here to help you as well become successful and free. So if you want to be successful and free again, don't forget to subscribe. And if, only if, you got some value out of this, if it made you think, if it got you some perspective on life and got you to think about something to do and take action on, please share the show, because I don't do this to make money. I do this just to document my journey and help more people on my way, right? Also, side note, I'm French, so don't pay attention too much to my English, but we'll talk about these specific things, and I think they will help you a lot. This week was pretty productive, because basically what I do on this podcast is just document what I learned during my weeks. Basically, this is the whole topic. And I'll tell you about my mistakes, things I think are useful to you, so that you just, learn from that instead of learning by yourself, making the mistakes yourself, and just waste time, right? So, I think the specific things today are, we're going to be talking about how your environment, I took notes, right? So, how your environment dictates your success. How I went completely off of social media and what were the results of doing so. And how I was able to become more productive and getting more things done while working less hours than before. Like, actually, it was a pretty productive week today, this week. And also how to learn from your mistakes in a military way to stop making them and succeed. Because if you keep making them right, you're not going to be successful, because you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. That's not what you should do. And military, because I've been listening this week to David Goggins. I just had him in my ears all the time, and I think it changed me a little bit. I think I learned a lot, and I just while I was doing this, it was very useful, very, very useful, because I listened to Can't Hurt Me from David Goggins. I actually listened to it way back. I don't know, like 2 or 3 years back, and I listened to it back this week. And I don't remember why I listened to it again. I can't figure what made me listen to it again. I think I had it on my phone. I had it on my phone, not even Audible, just on my app of music on my phone. And I was like, that's it's been a while. And so I was like, I don't remember really much about this. And so I was like, I'm going to get through it again. I did, and I learned a lot of things, including I didn't finish the topic of the podcast, right? I got a lot of very useful things, and I'm going to tell you how I apply them actually, and how I'm going to tell you exactly lists of things that I did for me that you can do for yourself, and they will make they will get you results. They already get results for me, to be honest with you. So I hope you hear me well. I don't know how the sound sounds right now, but I'll figure it's okay. So the things that I learned most importantly in the book, audio book, David Goggins, was the AAR, the accountability mirror, the cookie jar, the checkpoint strategy. That was very useful. I actually applied it before, but I didn't have a name to it, and I didn't apply it consistently until I got it from David Goggins. And now I'm getting it very consistently. It's very useful. The after action report as well. It's very, very this is how you learn from your mistakes. This is the thing. After action reports. And I'm going to tell you this. I told you about the accountability mirror. Yeah, all those things. Very useful. But first, I'm going to tell you about what I did a little bit this week. Sorry. because I moved the screen. If you are listening this on a podcast, only like a audio version of it, don't mind what I tell you about what people see, because I think I'm going to upload this on YouTube. To be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I'm not a podcaster at the beginning. I'm just like, kind of businessman that is going to just share his journey, because I'd like to see how I was thinking, and it also helps me with my communication skills and learn how to speak and communicate in English better. So I controlled my environment this week, because I figured, like, your environment is one of the most important things in your life. If you want to get better results, you need to take better actions. And the better dictator of behavior, because actions are behavior, right? The better dictator of behavior is your environment. If you have a great environment, you're going to have great behaviors. If you don't have a great environment, if you have a bad environment, you're going to do what, you're going to have a bad behavior, right? So you want to control this. You want to make sure that it's well optimized for your growth, optimized so that you succeed and you don't fail and you don't get distracted, for example. And one of the most important things that I did was something that I did on my digital space. So I controlled and I managed my environment, specifically on my phone, mostly digitally, and physically in my room. And it was very useful. What I did was I just listed all of the rooms, all of my environment, basically all of the environment, the room that I get inside, like my room. I listed the gym as well. I listed all of the places that I have an environment in physically, right? And then in these environments, in these spaces, for example, my room, I listed, for example, my furnitures. And I listed all the objects that... I actually listed like pretty much everything. Like the most important things I had, the most variables, right? So it was like either like I used them a lot, or they served a lot, or they didn't serve a lot, right? If it was like, I didn't write my bed on it, which I maybe should. So, because the goal is going to be to rate each and every single item on it on a scale, right? And the lower the scale, the more you want to, the worse it is. Like the lower on the scale, for example, I would have from -10 to +10. I got this from a YouTube video. I don't remember what was the name. From -10 to +10. And if it was like minus, that means that it's distracting me from my goals. If it's plus, that means it's like adding a little bit to my goals, or like, if it's +1, +2, it's adding a little bit, but not too much. If it's 0, it's neutral, right? And if it's +10, that means it's the best. It's the best thing that it gets you to like very fast towards your goals. If it's -10, that means it's a distraction. It's completely like taking you off of the road towards your goals, right? And so you want to eliminate every single thing that is minus. Everything that's minus, like, you just eliminate it. That's the most important thing. The better thing that you can do in your life is oftentimes just eliminate things, because we got too many things, way too many things. They just don't serve you. Sorry, guys. I've got to drink a little bit of water. I kind of feel like I'm getting a little sick. I hope not. So yeah, you got to eliminate things. And when you eliminate things, you start focusing on the essential things. You start becoming minimalist, right? And minimalism is very, very useful because you don't have too many variables to check if you are going to be successful, if you are not going to be successful, because a lot of things play in your favor or not. You want to eliminate as many things as possible, so that then it just becomes like easier to control and make yourself do the right things that are going to actually make you successful. Like, for example, in your room, if you have, like, I've been listening to Goggins, right? I've been listening to him, and he just talks about donuts. And man, I love donuts. I never eat donuts, but I love them. Dude, when I eat them, I just can't stop. Exactly. You can't stop, man. So why? I'm talking to myself, of course. Of course, by the way, anything that I say in any of my videos is just basically me talking to me, right? I'm not giving you like orders, right? I'm not doing this. I'm just like almost talking to myself and sharing what I think, and you take from me what you think is useful to you, right? You just, I'm not giving you orders, right? I'm just saying things. Sometimes I say, you should do this, right? I'm not really saying you should do this. I'm saying I should do this. So maybe you could think about doing this as well, right? It's just like not giving you orders. Don't feel like I'm just, I feel like I'm so superior to you. I'm absolutely not, right? So you should, talking to myself, erase any distractions from your room, from your office, from kind of any environment that you're in that you're spending most of the time. And for example, when I go to the gym, I noticed there was a distraction. First of all, distraction were people. You can get distracted with, some people talking there and have in mind their discussion. If they're talking about news or things like this, it distracts you. So I bought myself a pair of earbuds. I at one point I stopped listening to music to go to the gym because I figured it helped me too much. It was a little easier to push myself harder when I didn't think. Well, I could focus on the music or the motivational tracks I was listening to during the music, during the workout, during the sets, instead of the pain, right? And when I just cut that off. It was a little bit harder, and then I keep going, and then I was able to speak a little bit more with people, and it was more like I kind of needed more of a social life, right? So I just spoke more with people. I was more, social. But at one point, it distracts me, so I stopped, and especially the music. The music is very, very bothering. I can't ask because it's my friends that hold the gym there, and I work at the gym. They don't. They're not the owners, but they can't stop because people there want the music. They feel like it's too boring if there's no music or if it's too low. So I can't ask them to stop the music. At least not all the time. So I bought myself a pair of earphones to just noise cancelling earbuds. That just allowed me to first of all listen to podcasts sometimes. So useful podcasts. Just like this one, hopefully, and or sometimes music as well. Just like music that just made me focus on my sets and didn't get me distracted with people's conversations or too many people coming to talk to me, because I know a lot of people at the gym. So it just I catered my environment, right? And I was thinking of. When I go to the shop, because I still go and do my, my grocery shopping at stores, and sometimes the lights there are very, like, it's just like here, at least in France. I don't know how it is in the United States or in England or anywhere you're watching this from. Here, like, I'm almost allergic to places like Costco or Walmart, those places. I go make shopping there. My grocery shopping, at least, it hurts my eyes. Like, I feel like my eyes, even just thinking about it gives me the same feeling. Like, I feel very allergic to those places because the light is just like my eyes are just so hurting. So I was thinking like I'm gonna buy myself a pair of shadow glasses, right? Sunglasses, yeah. So that I just like don't get this, environment making me like giving me this bad mood. Now, of course, you want to have your will power through all those circumstances. Like in a perfect world, you just will your way through it. But as I learned to my experience, and as I was confirmed in while I was reading the book called The One Thing, he tells you like you don't have infinite will. Like sometimes it's like you can't will your way through things. So you need to make it easier for you to not need the will to have a great day, right? Not rely on will all the time. Sometimes it's great. It's great to push, like increase your will, like a muscle. But at some point, you don't want to be reliant on this. Also, I tried to eliminate. Actually, for me, I had it pretty dialed in. Like my environment in my room, for example, it's like pretty dialed in. I have nothing there. Just things, just to sleep well and productive things. But I didn't have any like very positive things, right? Things that actually made me want to work, made me want to go towards success. It just was pretty neutral and like nothing except my phone, I guess. Nothing was like there was no ability for me to be distracted. None. There's no TV there. There's no PlayStation. I had removed that like way back, like 5 years ago, I think. I don't play video games. I don't do this anymore, and I didn't have much positive things, right? So I figured I should increase this, and I had books, but they was like they were like put in a closet, right, or some things like this, right, a closet. And so I thought, why not put a positive possible distraction in your room? So I got my books out. And actually, like, it looks better in my room. They're like pretty colorful books, right? Because they're marketing books, and just having the cover of the one thing book, because it's just like the cover of the book, the one thing. If you know what it is, it's just like an arrow centered, like going downward toward a circle, and it's called like the one thing. And it's basically it talks about the essential thing. So it makes me remember all the time. It just kind of distracts me, but it's a positive distraction because it makes me remember. It's a cue that makes me remember to focus on the essential, right? So it's a positive thing. It's something that adds on to my environment to make me more likely to succeed. And so I added that. But the most important thing, again, is eliminating distractions, eliminating bad things. And the things that oftentimes takes you most of your time, it's your phone. And I realized this even before I started listening to David Goggins. And I had started to, I don't know why I got aware really that like keeping possible bad distractions was like choosing to have less probability of achieving my goals. Like I got very aware of this. I think it was last Saturday, and I was like, oh man, no. Do I want my goal or do I want my distractions on my phone, my apps, my social media apps, mostly? I was like, no. I wasn't very, like, totally ready to completely erase like my social life, because basically this is all I have basically no social life, right? I don't get out much. I don't talk to much people, even right now on social media. When I use them for maybe 15 minutes per day, right? But I want to take it to the next level. So, to take it to the next level, I just use the option on my phone. I have Samsung, all right? Sorry guys, if you like more iPhones. Maybe they're better, right? Maybe I'll change it at some point. But I have an option there to hide apps. And so I did that. I removed from my environment the cue that was making me want to get on social media. So all of the social media apps, all the possible distractions on my phone, I just hid. I deleted them. I deleted them from my view. Like I didn't have them in my environment. I had to go and search for them, right? And then I don't even know if I had to reactivate them. I don't think so. But it was like adding friction to the distraction, making it more difficult for me to be distracted, and making it more easy for me to be focused. That's the goal. And it worked like a charm. Like it was very, very, very good. Like I didn't use any apps any social media at all, not even YouTube, because for me YouTube is as well a distraction, to be honest. Like, even though I consume only productive content, only business mindset stuff on YouTube, basically all I talk about as well, it's just still a distraction, because I know most of this stuff and I'm not applying it when I watch YouTube videos. But when I listen to podcasts, it's another thing. But actually, I also stopped listening to podcasts this week. I was like, I need to get down my, like, slow the input of information I have in my head and just start, being able to think more for myself. Because right now I had just like people talking in my head, right? I was like, no, I want to think for myself for a second. But I didn't do this. I put David Goggins in my head instead. On the time I was eating, for example, right? I didn't do it like just this. I didn't listen to it while doing nothing. I was like doing kind of productive multitasking, but like it was a multitasking I could do. I was like stretching and listening to it. I was like eating and listening to it at the same time, right? So it was pretty automatic things that I did while listening to Can't Hurt Me of David Goggins. And it's just like was way more productive. I got more of this book than I could have gotten from any kind of YouTube videos, from any social media at all. Because social media is addictive. Listening to the audiobook, it was not addictive. And by the way, I used to listen a lot to audiobooks with a higher speed. So times 2 speed, or sometimes times 2.5, 2.8. I used to like try to get as much as information in. Right now, I listen to David Goggins almost in its entirety, just as in normal speed, in 1x speed, right? I think I got more out of the book because I was more able to think. Especially for me, it was like harder because I'm not a native English speaker. My native language is French, so I had more trouble to really understand and really become aware of the concepts of what people talked about. Even when I read, like it takes me more time to ingest and digest that information. So it was very useful for me to just have a calmer information come into my ears, come into my mind, and be able to process it. I was able to take notes on it. And so while I took notes, it was very, very useful, as you'll see in a second. But before that, I want to tell you how I became a lot more productive also. It was not just by removing things, it was also by planning. And planning in a specific way, because I decided to now make it official. Put it on my calendar that I was only able to work 6 hours per day. And this boosted my productivity by a lot. Because I used to, have no limits of work, right? You're an entrepreneur, you can work whenever you want. So you basically work all day long, right? You get up, I have my morning routine, I eat, and anything else is just work. Eat, sleep, and work. That's all you do. And when I did that before, especially in 2021, I lost my health because of this, because I had no precise limitations. And also, I was not that productive. I was messing up with a lot of things that didn't really matter. That was not the essential things that would make me the most amount of progress to my goal. Like some things that were actually meaningless, that I did just because I thought I needed to do them, and I had the time also to do them. Right now, I don't have the time anymore. It's because I don't have the time. I just have 6 hours of work on the computer. Then I have some more time to plan and to strategize, and I still think of business, but I ended like the actual work in the 6 hour period. In 6 hour, 6 hours, and then I'm done. And then what I do is I used a concept of David Goggins even before. Like, it was very weird to me because I was starting to do things differently, and at the same time I was listening to some audiobook that taught me the exact things, but to do them a little bit better, right? To optimize them, and it confirmed me to keep doing these, and so I'm going to, because they were very useful. I got a lot of value out of these things. And yeah, so working 6 hours only allowed me to just focus on the things that really mattered. And also for me, I can't, like, if I work more than this, actually, if I work more than 3 or 4 hours, my hands start like hurting, because I've hurt my hands, injured myself working too much on the computer. Actually, working like 12-hour days on the computer, like non-stop, not non-stop, like pretty much all day, like next to each other's. So I figured, like, okay, I need to cut that in half at least. Like, I can't work too much on the computer, so I need to be strategic with my actions and do really the things that matter. And guess what? It works. Like, I think I get more done right now because I very much focus just on the important, very important things. I do basically nothing that doesn't very much move the needle forward. Now, of course, I still get distracted in my work, because sometimes I start doing something and then I have side things to do to make this better, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, right? I try to do at my best capacity, and then I got lost in the details, which is one thing that I saw thanks through the accountability mirror that I will talk about just later. But before this, there's a thing that I did that made me a lot more productive. I don't know if I talk about this right now. So I got pretty much everything done. So yeah, scheduling the 6 hours was very crucial, because I knew already I wanted to work only 6 hours per day, but I didn't schedule it, so it was not very official. I was like, okay, I'll see, if I get things that needed to be done. Okay, cool. I work only 6 hours. If I didn't, we can work a little bit more, right? But yeah, making it official really helped. Like, I'm respecting, this is a rule in my life. Like, I work from about from 6, 7 to 12, 1 p.m. Like, it depends, right? But it's I actually stopped right now. That's the thing, because it's officially on my calendar, and I have other things planned in the day. So my calendar is packed, and I know I need to stop, because if I don't, the next morning is going to be compromised, right? So there's a bad consequence if I don't respect this rule. That's something very important to keep in mind too. And so right after the 6 hours, I take something that I got from, I didn't get it at first from it, but there is this, David Goggins talks about this in his book, the checkpoint strategy. So David Goggins, when he was going on military missions, he, I don't know, he went in Iraq, in mountains and things of this nature, right? In nature, he got a map, right? And he needs to put a checkpoint, right? Even like in video games, like you go up to a certain point in the game, right? In the adventure, or the quest, and then if you lose, you get back to this point, the checkpoint. And I was like, what? I got the idea of doing this, Honestly, I was lucky to do this, and it was like, just why would I not do this before? It's so useful. Why would you risk to be lost again and not know where you were before, and just try to think back again and everything until you get to where you were before? No. What you need to do is just immediately after you're done working, you just write down exactly what you did and what you did not do. And that's it. That's the checkpoint strategy for me. Like, I just write down, what did you, I did, 2 dots, right? I did, and I list the things that I did. Under it, I did not, and I list the things that are still to be done. And so next morning, I know exactly what it needs to be done. And plus, it frees your mind for the rest of the day to be able to focus and be more present in your day. And not think, I need to keep that in mind, right? When you externalize this thought, it helps you tremendously. It's really freeing, and it allows for better clarity when you get back to work. I'm just so, I'm mad I didn't do this before. Like, I used to do this at one point for my business when I was journaling. Like, it's kind of the same thing, right? When you journal, you kind of can do this as well. But when I just created a specific file, it's called progress in work, right? I called it this because in French it makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense in English. Progress in work. Work in progress, I don't know. Call it whatever you want, right? And you write down in it the date. And, okay, this date, today, I did, boom, boom, boom. I did not, boom, boom, boom. And the did not, I put them into, things that I can check, right? The little square that I can check. So I just, I know these are things to do. And the other things that I did, I put them into, circles, right? So it's not to be done. It's already did. I already did this. Now this is the thing that needs to get done. I didn't do. And so I keep that, and it makes it way easier to plan. And because it makes it easier to plan, because you're actually in it, of course you have a goal before that, right? You have a goal that you need to achieve, so you know what path you're going toward. But in the goal, you have specific tasks that you need to get done. And so sometimes you do them. Sometimes you have some things that you didn't have the time to get done. And so it makes you very easy to just, schedule the next morning. Boom, boom, boom. You need to do this next morning. So it also allows me to get to bed earlier. Because one thing that was preventing me from getting up early at 5 a.m. was planning. I took a lot of time planning because I didn't remember where I was. I took time to just remember, and plus in the evening, I was tired. I didn't have much will. Which, by the way, to increase my will in the evening, what I do, because you can do different things to re-energize your will storage, right? Basically, you have some energy to have your will, right? To have will, basically, to be willing to do things, to have power. Some of those things to re-energize yourself are, sleep, having a nap, for example, or eating. Eating is specifically sugar. So I eat a little bit of, I get a banana and honey. And it allows me to just not get too distracted in the evening and be able to do the right things, to be able to get to bed early. Because when I don't, I'm so tired. I got back from the gym. I ate dinner, and then I have to shower and do all those things. I don't need to plan anymore. I don't need to take as much time to plan anymore because I have already scheduled pretty much everything that I need to get done for the business, at least, right? So it's just it's way easier this way. Please do this. Please implement this in your life. Create a file, progress in work. What did I do? What did I not do? Boom. A lot easier. I don't know why I did not do this before. I bet a lot of people do this. Maybe it's just me that don't do this. I don't know. Maybe I'm not officially I don't have an MBA and things of this nature. Maybe people that have an MBA, know about these things. I don't. Anyway, what are the other things that I took from the book, from David Goggins? So, I don't know which one I'm going to talk about first. I guess, first of all, the cookie jar. So right now, I told you about the checkpoint strategy. I guess the cookie jar is very useful. Because to me, I just, when you start struggling, it's very easy to want to give up. It's very easy to forget that you're capable of doing things, right? So the cookie jar is basically the concept of David Goggins. It's just the accomplishment board, right? I used to call this that, right? The accomplishment board. So every day you watch and you remember that you have a cookie jar in which you can take a cookie. And the cookies are things that you accomplished. Moments where you powered through. Moments where you could have gave up. You wanted to give up, and you didn't. Those moments, you can get yourself mentally back then, when you did that, and you were proud of yourself, and you remember the feeling and the emotion it gave you, and the pride of having accomplished this, right? And when you get this, it gives you energy. It makes you not want to give up. And so if you want to succeed, you can't give up. And so it allows you to just power through, right? The cookie jar is very useful. It also allows you to boost your confidence, right? It allows you to boost the probability in your mind that you are actually going to succeed. And if you don't have this, oftentimes it's easy to give up. It's easier to give up, and it's easy to lack confidence and lack belief that you can get through it, right? So it's very useful, the cookie jar. And I think this is the most important. This is the thing that was most useful for me. The accountability mirror. The accountability mirror is just like the concept of David Goggins that tells you about, okay, he looks at himself in the mirror, and he just tells the raw truth without talking, being careful about what he says, being careful about his feelings. No. There's no BS. He tells you just how it is. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, okay. That's, I think, what you need to tell yourself when you have, because I got the awareness in me of this, the utility of this raise when when he said in the book, all right, I'm not a great runner. I'm not good with the hard sound. He was talking about the way that he could fail this. Why could I fail this? This is the main question that he was answering. I'm not a great runner. He was talking about a marathon or just ultra marathon, right? That you need to do. How could he fail this? I'm not a great runner. I'm not good with the hard sound. And it was telling you all those possible failure points. Those are the possible things that you lack. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay. It tells you to do this. I'm fat. I need to look at it. Okay, I'm dumb. I have no memory. Look at yourself. Just tell the truth, right? This is the accountability that you should have with yourself. And when he did that, I saw that. Wow, that's so useful. I saw that. I immediately thought of the things for me. I immediately imagined myself doing this, and once I imagined doing this, I immediately took my phone. I just wrote notes, and these are the notes that I wrote. I'm going to be full transparent with you, right? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, and hopefully, I think most of those things are in. You can get how you can apply them to your life. Maybe a lot of things. It's some things that I lack that a lot of people lack, I think. And if you figure out how to solve them, well, you can not lack them anymore. And if you don't lack them anymore, you're more likely to succeed. So, what I wrote down, so I was okay, how could I fail this? How could I fail my goal? So, I wrote down, I'm not a greatly organized man, right? Not a great planner, which I already worked on. And maybe I should work on even more. These are my weaknesses. I used to be very unorganized. I used to never plan what I was going to do before I got into business. When I get into business, I immediately planned, but I was never really good at it. I got better at it every time. I never really was organized. I realized this from the get-go. I was okay, I just even in school, when I was in college, when I started doing personal training, I started becoming more organized because I had to, right? I was forced to become more organized because if I didn't, I would arrive late, I would not have clients. So it was a must for me. But in nature, naturally, that doesn't come natural to me. It doesn't come natural to organize and plan and things of this nature. But right now it became my nature. Like, I know these things are way better than right now than they were before, but that is still not that great, right? So I'm not a greatly organized man, and I'm not a great planner. So I need to fix this. I need to learn how to become how to plan better, and which I actually did have a way better way right now with the checkpoint strategy to just write down exactly what I need to do next immediately after I get done work. The work done is easier for me to plan this way. So I already have a solution to this, right? So you want to see all those lacks that you have in the accountability mirror. Like, I didn't do this in front of the mirror, to be honest with you. I did this on my note app. I did this on my phone. I did this like you gotta put it out there though. Like, you can't just think it. Like, everything that you think is just like in your head. It's not real yet, right? You need to put it out there so that it becomes real. That's why writing your goals on paper is more important than just thinking about them. Like, thinking about them isn't gonna make them real. Putting it on paper makes it more real. It makes it more anchored into reality. So you need to, even on your phone, it's better than nothing, right? I did this on my phone because when I write with a pen and paper, it's just like my hands are injured, right? So I can't do this. Next, I say that I can't work more than 6 hours per day to not hurt my hands. So that means I have a disadvantage against the competition. People can work 8, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day. I can't do this. I have only 6 hours, so I need to be very deliberate and intentional about these. So that's something to take account of, right? I get addicted very fast. Yeah. I just get addicted very fast. At one point, I was watching like a movie a day. Every single day. It was back before I was personal trainer, but like, I noticed that. And so I immediately, like, once I got aware that this was, was going to be making my life a total failure, I just erased Netflix. I don't have it back. I erased my Netflix account since then. I never had Netflix since then. I fall into distraction and temptation when I'm tired at night and I forget about my purpose, my goals, and the reason why I want them. I knew this because I already had made an introspection. So if you want to know how to make this introspection, it's just asking yourself a lot of times why. Why do you do what you do? Because a lot of times, like, behavior like dictates what your internal dialogue and your internal like reasons and why you do some things, right? And so when you know those things, you can find solutions to them. So this is one reason why I fall into distraction and temptation. It's because it happens only when I'm tired at night and I forget about my purpose, my goals, and the reason why I want them, right? I forget about these. And so I need to remember them, right? I need to make them more top of mind to be able to not forget them anymore, have them in mind, and be less distracted and tempted by temptations at night because I have a lower will. Like, my will is not as strong at this moment. I'm going to put a little bit of light on this. Maybe it's better like this. I guess it's better. If you're watching, it's better like this. So next thing is I'm gullible, and if I see some results, I'll make an overgeneralization and think that I will never get my goals, or if I make a mistake, I'll think I'm not good enough. So that's the overall thing. Like, I'm just like, I find something that's some feedback, and I trust the immediate feedback. I trust it as being the reality for the long-term result, which is nonsense. Like, a lot of those things are not logical. Like, when I think about it, I was like, dude, why are you doing this? What do you think that? But in the moment, you don't realize it. Like, really, it's just you don't even think about it, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even think about it. I'm barely aware of it. So I'm able to put it out there, but in the moment, in the midst of things, it's only looking back really that I just noticed that. So I need to work on that to be able to not to break the belief, the inside internal belief that I have that if I fail right now, it means I will fail always. Like I have this like kind of connection sometimes that I make in my brain automatically. Maybe a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do. So you just need to break that into just like logically, why is this wrong? And so then you state the right belief and you say, okay, why is this right? It doesn't mean anything. If you fail right now, it doesn't mean if you'll not be able to learn from your mistake with the next thing that I'm going to tell you about, that you're going to be learning and you're going to be able to make more progress and next time succeed. So yeah, it doesn't make sense, but you got to fix those things that don't make sense in your brain. Then I have too high expectations of me and way too tight deadlines / timelines. So I talked about this in my last podcast. I think it was pretty good. You can go watch this after this one. But I basically I'm too optimistic, and oftentimes optimistic people die first because pessimistic people will prepare, will also keep hope. That's the thing. When you're optimistic, when you have tight deadlines, you first of all kind of think of yourself as a failure because you always fail because you're just unrealistic. Like you're just too optimistic and think you can do like a million things in a quite short period of time, which is nonsense. Like sometimes your goal just like, especially considering your skills, sometimes if you're getting into something new, if you right now new in business, how do you think you can make $1 million in 2 months? Like there's even like $50K a month. Like if you never start a business, if you had no knowledge at all, like it's very hard to do this. It's very not probable that you're going to be able to do this. Like it takes a very improbable amount of luck to get to this point. And so I think it's a weakness that I have. It's like, okay, dude, stop doing this. And so I'm going to stop. At least I'm going to try. It's going to be hard because I have like too high expectations of me. It's just like, I don't know. It's an internal thing that I've not yet solved. I need to solve. For me, there's a lot of things, right, that I need to solve. You need to strategize the way to, filter these things that you write down and note. And you just rate them as well. So you just see, okay, which of these things are the most important ones that will get me the most amount of results if I fix those, right? Because maybe some of those things are not that important. And some of them are very important. So you wanted to focus first on the very important ones. Next, I think that if I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, that I won't succeed, and so all efforts are useless. So this one I've been struggling for a lot of time. Like I think I made a video on this a long time ago. You need to figure out how. You need to figure out why you want to do this, and not how. The how is going to come after you figure out the why. And yet I don't. Like sometimes I don't do this automatically. Like oftentimes, when I imagine something, I can't really imagine how the process of how I'm going to achieve this. I feel like it's impossible. I feel like all efforts are useless to this, to actually accomplish this, and so I want to give up. And so it takes for me right now a lot of strength and like a lot of proactive thinking to be able to shift into, okay, I don't need to know how, or to actually just figure out how. Try to imagine this. This is how I fix it. To me, like it's a quick fix, but for now it works. I guess I need to figure out to really break this belief of I need to figure out how and be comfortable not knowing how, and still knowing that, just trusting that just because I want this, and I got this today. Like when you start very much believing that you can do anything, like you can do like a lot, like just like a kid, like just like a little kid that wants something and just cries for his mom to get something because he knows he has so much desire because of how much he believes that he can get it. He believes that his mom can get him anything, right? His parents can get him anything, right? If he saw something in the store, he wants it, he will cry for it. He will I want this, yeah. Oh, mama, it's in French, right? It's like, Ma, I want this. it's because he knows how much, like, he has a lot of desire for it, and he trusts that he can actually get it. He knows that he can get anything. And so if you know that you can get anything, why wouldn't you get that excited for your goals? Why wouldn't you like get that excited by building a $1 billion company? Why not? If you can get absolutely anything, right? Why not? If you don't believe that you can get actually anything, not everything, but like anything. If you really put your mind into it, if you really want it, you can. I really believe that. But sometimes I have like a lesser degree of belief for this belief, right? It's hard to keep it at the high level. And so this is what I need to work on. And so if I have this increased desire and this increased belief that I can actually get it, like the certainty is very high, well, then I don't need necessarily to know how I'm going to do this, because I already believe. Like the how is supposed to comfort you into the probability that you're going to get it, right? This is how it works for me. But if you don't need that, it's way better, because sometimes like you don't know how to do it. Because if you knew how to do it, you would have already done it. And if you would have already done it, well that's it. You've done it, so it's cool. Anyway, let's get into the other one. I get lost in the details and don't get done the most important things. That's why I'm reading the one thing, the book, the one thing. So I just don't get lost in details, right? So solution, problem in me. I see, okay, I'm accountable. I see myself like truthfully, and I'm accountable for it. And so I just want to fix it. I get distracted and forget what I was doing when I go on the internet, especially on social media. So that's just, I've erased this just by not going on social media, to be honest. And sometimes the work, you need for your work, you need, for example, to contact somebody, and or to go on social media, go on the internet and find something, make some research. And I got lost a lot while doing research. What helps me is just right before I sit for 45 minutes, I put my timer on. I do this like 45 minutes, and then I take a 5-minute break for my hands, and as well to re-energize and be more focused. So when I put the timer on, I will look at the plan. I look at the task at hand that I need to do. I look at the objective, what's the goal, and I focus on that. And I have my purpose in mind. I have the real like end goal that I want to get to, the vision I want to get to, and I know that this goal is going to get me to this vision. To get to this goal, I need to get this this task done. And so I'm more in a hurry to get this done, and I have it in mind when I do research, for example, and I don't get lost in details anymore. Not as much, as at least doing this. So that's a little solution I found as well. And so you see, all those things are very, very useful to apply in your life. Accountability mirror, that's it. The cookie jar, very useful. The AAR, I didn't talk about this. Exactly. The AAR, after action report. This is where you make mistakes and you learn from them. Like you actually learn from them, and you learn, like you dissect your mistakes so that you're almost certain to not do them again. Because if you do, it's not practical. You're going to keep doing them, and you're not going to succeed. But mistakes are the richest data that you can get your hands on, because they are data catered like specifically on your situation. They're data like specifically on your goal, on your personality, on yourself. So you can't get this anywhere else. Like your mistakes are the most important things to learn from. If you don't learn from them, you're just letting a lot of chances. Like it's just like, why not? You get like all of this data that you can act on. Then why not get it and use it, right? So he tells you about this, the after action reports. So his process is just like after a failure, or also after an old failure or event that happened, because maybe you have some kind of you remember something, and so you have some kind of PTSD of going back to do a certain thing because you failed at some point, right? You can use the after action report for this as well. So first of all, You brainstorm. You write down the positive things that happened first. What are all the positive things? So first of all, you just see that you're not a total failure, right? And you did some great things, so you want to keep doing them, right? One thing. Then, how did you handle the failure? Like, what happened? Did you feel very bad? How could you handle it better next time? Third, what were you thinking before and during the execution? That's very important. What were you thinking? This determines your mindset. Because oftentimes, if you failed at a point, like at something with a deadline, you might have given up. And you want to know what kind of mindset made you give up. What were the beliefs that you held? What were the thoughts that you had in mind at this moment? And also before, because before prepares you for what you're going to do after. And when you do after, when you think about it, when it gets hard, you start having some thoughts, right? And those thoughts can make you or break you. And if they broke you, you want to fix them. And so you want to become aware of those thoughts, of your mindset, to better it, to have a better mindset, and the next time succeed and not have this problem, not have the failure that occurred because of this. It's so very, very useful. Number 4, it's you make a list of things that you could fix. What I understand from this is just you list you think of all the points that you need to get through to achieve your goal, right? So you're going to have to do this, that, and with this comes this problem, right? So you want to strategize, you want to have a tactical review, right? What are all the steps that are going to get me to this goal? What are all the challenges that are going to occur in each of those steps? And when you do this, it allows you to plan for the possibility of, you want this going to happen. All right, I need to be mentally prepared for this, to handle it when it comes. And you can also strategize with having the math in mind. So you need to do a specific number of actions to get the specific result. Very, very useful. So if you can dial it down to one specific action that you need to do a certain amount of time, you can it's very much in your power to make this happen. I really would advise anybody to listen to David Goggins. Can't Hurt Me. It's a very insanely great book. It will help you. Also, the last thing is just he tells you to schedule another date to get back to it. It's okay, you failed. When is the next time that you're going to get back on? Because you failed, that doesn't mean you give up. That's the main thing. If you gave up, that again, you don't want to give up. You want to keep going. So one failure is very rich in data. You take this data and you make it into a success next time. If you like this podcast, if you want to, listen to me more, first of all, I really appreciate you for listening to me up until now. Hopefully you subscribe. Maybe share the show if you got something out of it. If you get some ideas, something to work on next time, I think you got it, right? So share the show. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the other podcasts or episodes or my YouTube channel or anywhere, right? Bye. Take care.